Starting off on a good note, guys. Starting off on a good note.
Welcome to Level Up Conversations.
No, you asshole.
I like it.
But we take conversations to the next level. I'm your host, Shane Simmons. On today's show, we have Jimmy.
Hello.
And Louie Tabinas. You don't get a last name.
That's okay.
All right, so in 10 seconds, notice I did not say in 10 seconds or less.
30 seconds or less.
In 10 seconds, we'll give a brief introduction of ourselves. Jimmy, ready? Are you ready? Go!
Hey, my name's Jimmy. I edit this stuff, and I play video games.
Keep going.
No, fuck.
Alright, time's up, Jimmy. Sorry I had to cut you off there. Louie, 10 seconds. Ready? Go!
My name is Louie. I'm the reason for the 10 seconds, only 10 seconds, not 10 seconds or less. I'm not as well versed as they are. I'm here for atmosphere.
Done. Alright, Jimmy. You got the time.
Oh. Ready? Go.
I'm Shane. Been your host for a while now. Been playing video games for quite a while as well. Just like doing this show. It's a lot of fun. Alright, that was good. I feel like everyone at home knows exactly who we are. Do you guys feel the same?
Totally.
I feel like it was really good.
I feel like what we did is just shook everybody's hand.
Yeah.
Like, hello. It's a firm handshake.
Why hello, sir. Video games. Alright, so on today's show, I'd like to start with a quote. This is the first time we've actually used sources here at Leveled Up Conversations.
Oh, we're growing up.
We're getting kind of serious.
We're getting real official. Alright, ready? You ready for me to butcher this name? Because that's what I'm ready for. Iwata is his last name. I'm not even going to try the first name. It's from Nintendo. We were thinking about a new business structure. Given the expansion of smart devices, we are naturally studying how smart devices can be used to grow the game player business. However, he went on to say it's not as simple as enabling Mario to move on a smartphone. I disagree. I think it is as simple as enabling Mario to move on a smartphone. Because there's so many emulators out there, there's so many people that buy Android or that jailbreak their phones so they can get an emulator on their device. That's the sole purpose of it.
Well, hold on. Why is this quote even a thing right now? What's going on? What's causing Iwata to say this?
Put some context in
Nintendo's like dying. So their estimate for...
Wait, nobody's buying the Wii U?
The what?
The what?
Come on! I want one!
There was a sequel to the Wii U.
You don't.
I can't
you
lie.
You really don't.
I don't.
They were like, Wii U.
I think my girlfriend wants one.
No, she doesn't. She really doesn't.
My
dad was like, I got that new Wii thing, and I was like, the Wii U? He was like, no, the Wii. And I was like, okay, that's acceptable. Wii U game consoles expectations went from 9 million units to 2.8 million units. Everyone's viewing this as Nintendo officially acknowledging it flopped, it failed, it's not, yeah. So, the reason that we brought this up, thank you Jimmy for keeping me on track, is because Nintendo's, I don't feel like they're gonna die off. They have too many franchises that they keep just repackaging and sending back out, and we all buy it, because they still have that same quality to them. So, how are they gonna make money? All of our heads go here. All of our heads.
This has been something that
of Nintendo on the mobile devices.
Since the App Store for the iPhone, and then since Android has become such a big thing, like this is something everybody would love. I would love to play Zelda on my iPhone. I would love to play any Mario on my iPhone. I've got graphics probably on my iPhone that are better than the Wii U.
Yeah.
With the jailbroken iPhone 5S, or just the 5 family as a whole, you can run a Nintendo 64 emulator on it. That's the power that we have right now in these smartphones. So why can't we get a Game Boy Advance or a Super Nintendo emulator is my question.
Well, it's there. That stuff is
yes,
already there.
Like, buy Nintendo to where they can start making money off of it. Because here's my idea, right? So, you sell one of two things. The first thing is what comes to everyone's mind, which is an emulator that Nintendo actually makes. Make it for $40, make all the games for $5, and these are games you're no longer making money off of. So it doesn't pull from your market anymore. Make them Game Boy Advance. Make them Super Nintendo games. I would love to play Super Mario World on my phone.
Well, hold on. Why would we need an emulator if they could just sell the games individually?
Well, what I'm talking about is like an app that you download and then in-app purchases to get the game.
Like the Atari one?
Like the Atari one, exactly. So one app that does all these games instead of like an app per game. Okay. So that's one idea. And the other idea is Apple just opened it up to where you can make controllers for games, right? And the problem with like DS emulators on the iPhone, if you don't know, the DS is a clamshell and it's got 2 screens, except for the 2DS, but no one cares. So having the controller be a bottom that hooks onto the phone that acts as a clamshell, you get an external battery through that, you get physical game controls, and a second touchscreen. So it's essentially a 2DS that has a clamshell to the phone. The app and all the games are stored on the controller part, so Nintendo can monitor that without having to worry about the App Store. How do you guys think? What do you guys think about that?
I think you're onto something. I think we can all agree that the market for the Wii and the Wii U is a little bit younger. So a lot of parents are going to be buying it for their kids, or they would have been
And that's the
buying
thing,
it for
is
their
when
kids. And it's like, as a parent, would you rather spend, hundreds of dollars on a console?
And then
And
$40
then-
to $60 per game?
Or would you rather spend, a lot less on an app that they can play just as well? So
Exactly, because you're not buying a console because they already own the console.
Correct.
But you're also, and granted, I had a long conversation with my girlfriend about this and how I'm
You don't
sick.
have a girlfriend, don't mind.
How I'm sick of
Your
seeing
flower's gone.
right. How I'm sick of seeing like little kids with cell phones. But she brought up a good point of, well, if I have a family plan, it only costs me $10 extra a month to do this, and since I can get an iPhone 4S for free or $99 for an iPhone like 5C, why not add that on there? It's like, well, I guess that does.
And
make
they're going to be
sense.
grabbing my phone every 2 seconds anyway, so I might as well get the
Right, so I mean, but there is an
an
extra cost of actually having a phone. We kind of take that stuff for granted and be like, oh, an app. Well, you have to have the fucking phone first.
Right, and we do take it for granted for good reason, though. Like, if you look at statistics of who has a smartphone nowadays, I mean, it's a ton, and I rounded down on that.
It doesn't even have to be a smartphone. It can be an iPod Touch.
Sure, there is that.
or
but
an iPad that the whole family uses.
I also brought that up with my girlfriend, and she said, well, it's more expensive for me to buy the iPod Touch than it is to get a contract for a $99
This is true. Hashtag facts.
But you've
Starting
got
trends over here.
you've got a good idea. I don't know if Nintendo will go through with that. I think it is more likely for them to make an emulator app or individual apps for the games, mainly because if you're going to do this, why would you want to eliminate like half of the crowd being the other half being Android versus iOS?
Right.
I'm not a developer, so I don't know how hard it is to switch from developing for iOS versus Android.
Yeah.
But if you can develop that for both, why wouldn't you do that versus making a device that might be harder to like then adapt to other phones?
It's just more purchases go through Apple devices through the App Store than they do through the Android, and also emulators are making money in the Google Play store. Is that how you say it?
Google Play
Store. I just feel like there's an extra word.
If you haven't found out, we're a little bit iPhone biased here.
Just a little.
Just a little tiny.
Watch my previous videos where I juggle an iPhone the entire time, and then Andrew uses it for it, and then we pretend like that never happened, and it's really funny.
And kind of magical.
It is, thanks to Jimi. And Andrew hates me now for it. But anyways, no, that's not the topic at hand. I don't know. I just feel like Nintendo could have been doing this for a while. It's definitely legal issues. But in my mind, if they're just reselling games they've already made that they're not making money off of anymore, that's the biggest thing for me. Is like, you're not taking away from your 3DS market. You're not taking away from people that are playing the Wii. You're just adding to it. It's just all profit at this point because you're not making money off of these titles, but they're still your titles.
Well, here's another thing, and I don't know if we need to save this for another conversation, but in this, you right now are talking about not eating away from their handheld market or their previous system that you can't buy unless you're going to use Game Store. You can't buy those systems of those games anymore. But the bigger thing for this is that their console for your TV is something that's not selling well. I don't want Nintendo to go away whatsoever.
No one does.
Yeah,
I feel like that's something we can all agree on.
Right. I love their franchise. I love what they do. I love the
That's
fact
not a
that...
conversation we have to level up.
Boo. I love what they stand for and everything that they do. This is a great idea for previous generation material, but what about going forward? This might help to keep them afloat to continue to make consoles. Although, do we think if they are going this route, will they abandon it and become like Sega, where they are just a developer and not a hardware manufacturer?
And that's something you brought up earlier,
Yeah,
Louie.
you stole my point, and now I don't sound like I know anything. But since you
I
guys
gave
are
you
more
credit for it right there.
Yeah,
Sorry,
since
sorry,
you guys are more well
Louie brought it up earlier.
I want to
Hashtag
ask you
fact.
guys, like, how is Sega? Why don't we bring that up?
Shitty.
Okay, but they're still alive.
Ish.
Ish.
It's not really alive.
I bought the Sonic app on my iPhone.
I did too. Sonic, what was it? Sonic Rush or whatever, where it's exactly the same as Temple Run, but you play Sonic.
Oh no, not that one. The
Oh,
original
the
one.
Sonic the Hedgehog
original
2.
Sonic
Yeah.
the Hedgehog.
Yeah, the side scroll.
And I collected some coins.
I
some
didn't
rings.
because of virtual controls. I hate touchscreen controls, which is why in my mind, the way this is going to work the best is if they take part in the making your own controller type thing. Because even what they could do is like have the storage for the games and the full like app store for these games live on that bottom touchscreen.
I don't think Apple would allow.
I don't think Apple would allow it either. But as a business perspective, yes, Apple would be. They wouldn't get as much money if it went through that. But if they just got a percentage of every game, this is going to sell. Like you can talk to average gamers, like people that consider themselves like not hardcore gamers. Louie, how much would you pay for a Nintendo app?
Nintendo app, the app itself, maybe $15 to $20.
Exactly, because that's what you usually would pay for an app.
I would say
absolutely love.
even that, depending on what it did, I might not even want to pay that much for it.
See, and that's my point. Me being a hardcore gamer, I would give you $100 if you can make that happen and make it happen with Nintendo support. And I feel like that's not like my specific view. I feel like if there's a hardcore gamer out there, if there's someone that's fell in love with Pokemon or fell in love with the Fire Emblem series or fell in love with Mario or Donkey Kong from the Super Nintendo, they would shell out that much money easily, like without a question.
That might be, granted, in-app purchases, I would say you could definitely total that, but the App Store culture is like rallied around 99-cent material.
Yeah, which is why in my mind it's don't make it a part of the App Store. Make it the separate controller.
I understand, like, I would, because I don't know if I mentioned this on another episode, I have, and now I'm forgetting I've had too many of these. What is the game I've got for the iPad that I love?
XCOM.
XCOM, thank you. XCOM I bought for the iPad and love that game. I gladly paid the like $19.99 for that game.
I paid $60 for that game on a console, and it's the exact same game.
Right. I probably would not pay more than $19.99 for an emulator, just because also I do so much other stuff on my phone, since it's not primarily a gaming device to me. That would probably be about my limit for an emulator, and then in-app purchases, oh yeah, I would like, another $5 here, another 99 cents here, that would be fine, but I wouldn't go much further than that to actually purchase an emulator.
And to be totally honest, I didn't get XCOM. I did not get it because I don't have an iPad, and I feel like the phone screen's too small, and also I'm sick and tired of my battery life going because I want to play a game on my phone. Like, I have a lot of games on my phone, I don't play much of them, because it's games that I would rather play on my PC, on my consoles. That's just what I would rather do. But if you gave me something that is on the handheld that I can't get somewhere else, like Pokemon Yellow version, or like one of the original Fire Emblems, yeah, that's where I'm going to play, and that's where I'm going to want to play it. So.
It's a matter of forcing you to purchase the app.
Exactly.
Okay.
Alright guys, that's all the time we have today. I really want to know what you guys have to say on this topic. Let us know on Twitter at LeveledUpConvos, or just comment on this YouTube video. Don't forget to subscribe, and that's our show.
See ya.
I'll technologicize your mom.
It's awkward.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.